So hello friends, nice to see you here. As I told you last year, we are the avant-garde, we are the people who are on the right side of history. There are some people who are struggling against history, but actually we are moving with history, and I think we will actually win in the end. So why are we here? Today is the 7th of May 2016. It's 4 years after a court in the district court of Cologne decided that the circumcision of a boy is a bodily violation and actually it should be punishable. And this was something that sparked the anti-activist movement across the world, and because of that, today 41 organizations worldwide in 10 countries worldwide on 5 continents decided to join us in our struggle against the circumcision of boys and girls and against the surgery of persons who are born with non-definable sexual sex organs. So actually, I want to read to you, because it is so impressive, I want to read to you who actually is joining us today. It's 41 organizations in 10 countries on 5 continents. So this is the Attorneys for the Rights of the Child from California, the Australasian Institute for Genital Autonomy in Australien, the Bay Area Interactivists, Beschneidungsforum.de, das Forum zum Thema Beschneidung in Deutschland. Der Berufsverband der Kinder- und Jugendärzte BVKJ, for the English speaking, this is like the pediatricians organization in Germany. So, der bundesweite Arbeitskreis Säkuläre Grüne, so the Green Party, der Canadian Foreskin Awareness Project, the Children's Health and Human Rights Partnership from Canada, die Deutsche Akademie für Kinder- und Jugendmedizin, so the German Academy for Pediatricians and Pediosurgeons. Das Deutsche Kinderbulletin, jedem Kind eine Chance, Political Children Medicine. Doctors Opposing Circumcision, Physicians for Genital Integrity from Seattle. The Droit à Corps, the Right of Body from France. Der Facharbeitskreis Beschneidungsbetroffene MOGiS e.V. Das Forum Männer in Theorie und Praxis der Geschlechterverhältnis from Germany. Genital Autonomy from Great Britain. Die Giordano Bruno Stiftung from Germany. Die INTACT, die internationale Aktion gegen die Beschneidung von Mädchen und Frauen, so a movement against the circumcision of girls and women. We have the IBKA, der internationale Bund der Konfessionslosen und Atheisten von Deutschland. Die INTACT Africa, INTACT Denmark, INTACT Kenia, INTACT Switzerland, aktiv e.V., eine Stimme für genitale Selbstbestimmung from Germany. Justice Snip from Denmark. Men Do Complain from Great Britain. Of course, MOGiS e.V., then No Circ, the National Organization of Circumcision Resource Centers in the US, who now call themselves Genital Autonomy America. We have Norm UK, also called 15 Squares from Great Britain. We have the Party of the Humanists from Germany. We have Pro Familia Nordrhein-Westfalen from Germany. We have Pro Kinderrechte from Switzerland. We have Protect the Child from Israel. We have the Gay Network NRV from Germany. We have SexPro from Finland. Tabu e.V. in Association Against Female Genital Mutilation from Germany. Terre des Femmes, Menschenrechte für die Frau e.V., so a feminist organization joining us in our fight against genital mutilation of boys. We have den Verband medizinischer Fachberufe, den Zentralrat der Ex-Muslime. We have Your Whole Baby. And additionally, we have the Pirate Party Germany and Solid, the left youth organization from NRV, joining us in our fight against genital mutilation of boys and girls and intersexual people. And what this shows actually is that this crosses a chasm. This is not about men's rights or women's rights. This is about fundamental rights. This is about the rights to bodily integrity, and it's really important that we join, that we cross the chasm that distance us from each other, and we have to cross it, we have to bridge it, and that's what we do with this day. We cross the chasm, we join in this fight. This fight that we are actually pursuing, it's also a fight about the means of expression. Especially in the German debate, it's always about the means of expression, what kind of expression is allowed. And Actually, I want to widen the space that we have, the means of expression that we have, the kind of words that we can use. So there are 2 points in that. And one is that we should be able to call it a mutilation. There are lots of people who are fighting the word mutilation with regard to circumcision of boys. And we should be clear, this is a mutilation, because mutilation, the word in its meaning, it talks about how it is for the person who is affected by it. So those affected define what happened to them and how it feels like. If they call it mutilation, it is a mutilation for them. And they should be allowed to call it a mutilation, and nobody should be able to stop them. The other word that people try to keep out of the debate is the word of sexual abuse. Some people try to say that this should not be seen as a sexual abuse. But for those affected who feel abused by this practice, who feel their sexual autonomy abused by this practice, they should have the freedom to call it sexual abuse. It should be allowed to call it a sexual abuse because it is against the sexual self-determination of the child. It is some practice which is against the sexual self-determination. So it should be allowed to be called sexual abuse. And that is how the people who feel like that should call it. If they feel it's a sexual abuse, it should be named as such. The organization MOGiS was founded by members of what I now call classical sexual abuse. And especially we feel sympathetic with this issue because our sexual self-determination was violated. So we see the similarities in the effects, the psychosexual effects of circumcision are not so different from classical sexual abuse. And so I'm deeply sympathetic with everybody affected. And so I actually fight for the right to be able to call this sexual abuse. And if you feel like that, you should call it like that as well. So, then there's one point that is really important. Usually, I do not shame organizations. But now, 4 years after there was the ruling in Cologne, it's now time to shame people. There are people who are fighting for children's rights, but who are not in favor of protecting boys from circumcision. And even worse, there are worldwide organizations who are actually detrimental to the rights of boys, of sexual self-determination. And actually, we have to call them out. And this is for you, UNICEF. This is shame on you, UNICEF, for circumcising boys in Africa. Why the fuck? What happened to you? Why do you believe it's a good idea to have a circumcision performed on boys who are not sexually active? Why do they believe that this is a preventive measure and that this is in any way in the right of the child? They shouldn't call themselves UNICEF any longer. I mean, they are not protecting the rights of the boys in Africa. They should call themselves something else. Perhaps they want to call themselves UNAIDS or something, or dependents of UNAIDS. But they are UNICEF. They should know better about these issues. They should understand that this is about the rights of the child of self-determination. They should deeply, deeply think about it, whether they want to continue this horrid practice in Africa. And I hope that they will stop this practice in Africa and only perform circumcision on people who can give informed consent. Not only consent, but informed consent. People who are not pressured into this practice. And what is deeply disturbing about UNICEF's campaign to circumcise boys is that actually they do it because they do not reach their quota on circumcising adults, because adult males, they don't want to be circumcised. So to reach their quota, they reach down to the younger men and then they reach down to the boys because they cannot fight against it. So they can reach their circumcision quota in Africa. And they should really be ashamed about it. So, I thank everybody who took to the streets today, be it in Sydney, in New York, in Washington, in Charleston, in Denver, or in San Francisco. I am deeply grateful for everybody who joined us today in our fight. And one wish I have, next year, if you have the chance, wherever you are, if you come to Cologne or if you go to your local meetup, please bring somebody who has not already joined us on May 7th. So next year, please bring somebody with you or bring an organization that is even better. Let's network, let's become larger, let's become a powerful movement so we can end this horrible practice of circumcision of boys and girls and intersexual people. Thank you very much.